Good afternoon, everybody. Hope you're all healthy and safe at home. Let us continue with our chapter 3, dual spaces. So, in the previous lecture, I had given you just an introduction or about what is a dual space. It is a collection of all linear functionals on a particular norm space. And we had seen the theorem, Hahn-Banach theorem. We had the proof was excluded, but I hope you all guys have just digested the theorem properly. So what we are going to do is, in this chapter we are mainly dealing with the corollaries of Hahn-Banach theorem. So let's move on to the corollaries of Hahn-Banach theorem. The first one, that is corollary 3.1.3. The corollary states that for all x dot element of S of x, which is equal to x element of x, such that norm x equal to 1. So this is basically, if you recall, this is a definition of a unit sphere, right? Norm x equal to 1 means it is a definition of a unit sphere. So for all elements in the unit sphere, there exists f dot element of x star, that is a linear functional, such that the norm of f dot, that is norm corresponding to x star, supremum norm, is 1 and f dot of x dot is equal to 1. So what is the corollary saying? The corollary states that any element on the unit sphere, for corresponding to any element of the unit sphere, we can always find a linear functional in the dual space, such that norm of that linear functional is 1 and f dot of x dot is equal to 1. So let's see how we can move on to the proof of this corollary. It is a very simple proof. Let's just see how we can prove. For that, first what I'm going to do is consider a one-dimensional subspace of x, say E dot. Okay, so E dot is one-dimensional. So let us suppose that it is one-dimensional, means its basis consists of just one element, right? Or it can be written as lambda into x dot. Okay, where this x dot is our element in the unit sphere S of x. So suppose that E dot is a one-dimensional subspace. What I'm going to do is I'm going to define a linear functional on this E dot, on this space E dot. Define a linear function by phi of lambda x dot is nothing but lambda. That is, if you choose any element of E dot, it is basically the linear combination or the multiple of, not linear combination, scalar multiple of x dot. And how are we defining the linear function? The function, whenever acting on an element on E dot, it will give the scalar multiple out. Okay, now let's see what happens to the norm of phi corresponding to E star. This is by definition, it is supremum of x dot element of E dot mod phi of lambda x dot by norm of lambda x dot. Here usually the definition was supremum mod f of x by norm of x. So here, where x is an element of the space, so here we are dealing with E dot and every element is of the form lambda x dot. So this is the element that we'll have to consider. So what is by definition? So this is supremum of lambda by modulus lambda by the definition of norm, I can take mod lambda out common. So mod lambda into norm of x dot. So mod lambda and mod lambda gets cancelled, and this is 1. And also, what is the value of norm of x dot? X dot is an element of S of x, so norm of x dot is again 1. So this is nothing but supremum of 1, which is nothing but 1, right? So we get norm phi corresponding to E dot star, or corresponding to the subspace E dot, is always 1. Okay, now so just keep this in mind. Now what we can use is, we are going to use Hahn-Banach theorem. So we had considered a linear functional, right, phi element of E dot hash. Then by Hahn-Banach theorem we can find an extension to this function, right? So by Hahn-Banach theorem there exists an f element of x star such that norm of f corresponding to x star is equal to norm of phi corresponding to E dot star, and f restricted to E dot will be equal to phi, right? So from this what do we get? We get that the norm of f corresponding to x star is 1, because we had seen just now that norm phi is 1. Now we have to check whether f of x dot, right, or f dot. Here in the theorem they have stated f dot, right? So let's use f dot also here. So we have to check whether f dot of x dot is equal to 1, right? Now how can we do that? Now f dot acting on x dot is an element of E dot, right? Because it is a E dot is spanned by x dot, so x dot is an element of E dot, and f dot whenever acting on elements of E dot is nothing but phi itself. So now let me just take a new page. F dot of x dot is nothing but phi of x dot. Okay, and now what is phi of x dot? Phi of x dot will be nothing but 1. Why? We know that phi of lambda into x dot is defined as lambda, right? Now that is, if lambda is equal to 1, what will be the value of phi of lambda x dot? Phi of lambda x dot is nothing but phi of x dot, and phi of x dot will be value of lambda, that is 1. So f dot of x dot, f dot whenever acting on elements of E dot is nothing but phi, and phi acting on x dot is equal to 1 by the definition. So f dot of x dot is equal to 1. So this is the proof of the corollary that we have just now stated, that is, for any element in the unit sphere we can always find a linear functional such that its norm is 1 and f dot of x dot is equal to 1. Now let us move on to another simple corollary which is proved with the help of the previous corollary that we have done. So that's why I'm stating it in this lecture. The corollary 3.1.4, it states that for all x dot element of x there exists a linear functional f dot element of x star bar set 0, okay, such that f dot of x dot is equal to norm of f dot into norm of x dot. That is, for any element in the space x we can find a linear functional which is not 0 such that f dot acting on that element or that linear functional acting on a given element is equal to norm of the corresponding, that is norm of the linear functional into the norm of the element. So now let's see how we can prove this corollary. For that, first what we are going to do is we shall consider an element which will we have to, I have stated that we have to use the previous corollary. So for that what I am going to do is I am going to choose to use the previous corollary. We need to have an element which is there in the unit sphere, right? So what I am going to do is we are given an element x dot, right? I am going to consider x dot by norm of x dot, okay. This is also an element of x. Now what does the norm of this element be? Norm of x dot by norm x dot will be nothing but norm of x dot whole divided by norm of x dot, which is equal to 1, right? So I can say that this element, that is x dot by norm of x dot, is an element of the unit sphere. Okay, so now we are free to use the previous corollary. So by corollary 3.1.3, there exists a linear functional in x dot such that its norm is 1 and f dot acting on the element in the unit sphere. What was the element in the unit sphere? It was x dot by norm of x dot, right? F dot of x dot by norm of x dot is equal to 1. So I hope you can relate with the corollary. Corollary stated that we can always find for any element in the unit sphere, we can find a linear functional whose norm is 1, and when it is acting on that element in the unit sphere, the value is also 1. So here the element in the unit sphere which we had got was, or which we had obtained, was x dot by norm of x dot, right? So we get f dot of x dot by norm of x dot is equal to 1. Now in this corollary we have to prove that f dot of x dot is equal, that is the linear functional corresponding should be equal to 1. So from this I can see that this 1 by x dot is a scalar and f dot is a linear functional. So we get f dot into norm of x dot 1 by norm of x dot into f of x dot. F dot of x dot is equal to 1. So this implies f dot of x dot is equal to norm of x dot. Now by corollary we know that norm of f dot is 1, so there will be no problem if we multiply by 1, right? So this is nothing but norm of f dot into norm of x dot, right? So the proof is simple. This is the proof of corollary 3.1.4. So once using the element given to us, we formed an element of the unit sphere and we have simply used the corollary that we have done before. So that is how we can prove our corollary 3.1.4. So it was simple, that is for any element we can always find a linear functional which satisfies this condition, right? So that's it for today's session. Thank you. Stay home and stay safe.